Welcome to Ivanoff Retirement Insights with Paul and Travis Ivanoff. The father and son team at Ivanoff Advisors and Ivanoff Wealth Management helps clients grow and protect their wealth. Paul and Travis understand the importance of having tax-advantaged, reliable income in retirement, protecting your assets, and helping you achieve your retirement dreams. Now, Ivanoff Retirement Insights.
Welcome to Ivanoff Retirement Insights. I'm Casey Biddy, and I am here with the guys of the hour, Paul Ivanoff, insurance agent with Ivanoff Advisors, and Travis Ivanoff, investment advisor representative with Ivanoff Wealth Management, right here in Orange County. Now, we have got a lot of great topics to discuss today. First, though, want to make sure you know how to reach us. Our website, where you can find all the info that you need to get connected with us, is ivanoffinsights.com. That's IVANOFF insights.com. All right, let's jump right in today, guys. Just before announcing his upcoming retirement as CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, 94-year-old Warren Buffett was asked about the recent market volatility that has rattled investors. He brushed it off by saying this has not been a dramatic bear market. Take a listen.
If it makes a difference to you whether your stocks are down 15% or not, you need to get a somewhat different investment philosophy. Certainly in the next 20 years, you'll see a period that somebody in the market described one time as a hair curler compared to anything you've seen before. It just happens periodically. That's part of the stock market, and that's what makes it a good place to focus your efforts if you've got the proper temperament for it. People have emotions, but you got to check them at the door when you invest.
So guys, my question for you is, how often do you see people close to retirement make risky market moves because they couldn't check their emotions?
I see it all the time. I think, some clients are looking for that big ticket where, hey, if I just stay in a little longer, I can get back to where I was if the market, had a correction, or, I feel like I've been watching the news and I think the market's going to take off. But really, it needs to be consistent with your purpose. So what do we need to accomplish and what's the risk? What are we reaching for? So rather than focusing, like Warren Buffett saying, on a 15% correction or a 15% gain, make sure that not all your eggs are in that one basket. Mm-hmm. How much money are you willing to gamble? Because at the end of the day, the market's going to go up, down, or sideways. So is all of your money, in the market? Are you going to be able to, sit there and be patient if the market has a correction? Or are you going to sell at the bottom like so many people do? Or greed, as they say, greed buy. When the market's up, I'm going to buy more of that. That's not proper retirement planning, right? At our firm, I'm no longer focused just on accumulation for my clients. I need to worry about distribution and getting them through a retirement without running out of money, right? Mm-hmm. If we make you an extra 5%, 10% on top of the nest egg you've already saved, it's probably not going to change your life. But if we can protect you from losing 20% with proper asset allocation and using some tools that do not have market risk inside of them, that'll probably help you make the decisions to actually spend down your money, right? Oftentimes when we see the market fall, clients become paralyzed and they're waiting for the market to recover before they go on that trip. And it's not, you have to tie in what your retirement means to you and what your dreams and goals are. Is your dream, to make this million into 3 million in retirement? Or is your dream to spend more time with your kids or your grandkids or redo the bathroom or go on that cruise? You have to tie it into a realistic purpose instead of just continuing to try to run all the highs on the market and market time the lows. It's a tough game to be in. That's why Warren Buffett's saying, hey, if you are worried about a 15% loss, you should check your emotions at the door. Because the reality is you probably shouldn't be participating if you're worried about a 10 or 15% loss, because that's part of markets. So the goal is to build a very purpose-driven retirement plan. And that's what we do with our Ivanoff Retirement Roadmap, is make sure that every dollar has a purpose and we know the risk. And are you willing to accept that risk, or do we need to rethink your approach to retirement planning?
Paul, what do you think?
Well, we try to educate our clients to try to filter out all the noise that they hear on the news. You can't just hear something and all of a sudden just make a quick change.
Right.
We're constantly getting clients when they're hearing too much on the news, they'll call and I've got to get Bitcoin, I've got to get medical marijuana, or AI's big. My nephew told me I got to get in that. they don't have any basis for wanting to do so, and they could really ruin their retirement plan just by making these quick decisions in the end.
Well, and before you let the emotions take over, I absolutely believe incorporating the help of a professional is the key during times like these. You don't have to navigate your road to retirement solo, and Paul and Travis and their teams are here to help you with that. Like Travis said, they want to offer you their complimentary Ivanoff Retirement Roadmap today. This is a no-obligation conversation and a chance to get your questions answered. All you've got to do is head over to ivanoffinsights.com, and we can get you on the calendar to get your conversation started. Again, that's Ivanoff, Ivanoff, insights.com, and we will get your conversation started. Now, guys, I want to talk about Social Security for a minute. The earliest age you can claim Social Security is 62, but while taking advantage of this lifetime guaranteed income may sound promising, the truth is your monthly benefit check will be about 30% less than if you had waited to claim at your full retirement age, which for most people is around 67. So guys, when you're meeting with your clients, what are some of the key factors that you weigh when you are helping them make this decision? Because it's a big one.
Well, when people are ready for Social Security, or at least thinking about it, there are so many ways to take it. There are 567 ways to claim Social Security, and everybody's different. You can't do what your neighbor did, what your relatives did, and it all really depends on your health and your wealth. We're going to have, when you first retire, the first 10 years are the go-go years. Mm-hmm. So if you're not so healthy, maybe take that money now and really go out and enjoy yourself. After the go-go years, then we have the slow-go years, and then after that, it's the no-go years. So based on your health and your wealth, that's what's going to determine when you should take Social Security, and we can put a plan together for you when you meet with us.
Yeah, I think Social Security is such a loaded question because it's so dependent on your specific situation. If you're married and you know your Social Security, you're the younger spouse, and maybe it's never going to be as much as your spouse's Social Security. And we're looking at longevity and statistically, hey, maybe my husband's probably going to, statistically speaking, pass away earlier than I. Mm-hmm. And eventually I'm probably going to switch to the higher Social Security. So if I don't turn my Social Security on at 62 and something happens to him, well, then I essentially had lost my Social Security. So I guess when we build out our planning, all the pieces come into play. Your other retirement accounts, do you have a pension? Do you have rental income? So we have different calculators we use in office, and we'll run you all those different scenarios. What if you turned on at 62? How much money are we leaving on the table if you live a 30-year retirement? What if we turn on at 67? Maybe we turn on the younger spouses first because it's going to be lower, and then let the older spouse continue to grow. So there's not a one-size-fits-all on the Social Security planning side of things. It's really getting to know your specific situation. We have all the tools available to us to show you all the numbers. Hey, this is how much you would get more over your lifetime if you waited till 65 versus 67 versus 70. And then we talk about time horizon. Well, if you're pulling Social Security and you let your other assets continue to grow, maybe that makes more sense because we're growing at compounded versus simple. There's a lot of different ways to claim, and it's really specific and detailed based off your current situation, which is where our Ivanoff Retirement Roadmap comes into play, because we can put in different strategies and different timelines and multiple different scenarios if you were to turn on Social Security, or even look at a start, stop, and start again method in Social Security, which a lot of people don't exist. But again, that's a lot of detail behind that. So we can always jump into that when you sit down for your, no obligation meeting with Paul and myself.
Well, Travis, I think you said it best when you said Social Security is such a loaded question. It's a huge part of retirement planning. And if you're listening and you've got Social Security concerns, know that you're not alone. And the good news is you don't have to figure it out solo. You can sit down with the professionals at Ivanoff Advisors and Ivanoff Wealth Management, and they can help guide you through this. All you've got to do is head to ivanoffinsights.com. We will get you scheduled for that complimentary Ivanoff Retirement Roadmap that Travis just mentioned. All you got to do, once again, head to ivanoffinsights.com. All right, so Paul and Travis, are you guys baseball fans?
Oh, huge baseball fans.
All right, who's your team?
Well, I live by the Angels here, but I wish the Dodgers played here.
Yeah.
Dodgers are awesome.
Well, I'm a Braves fan. I just caught the Braves play the Red Sox at Fenway over the weekend, which is a very cool experience.
Oh, that's awesome.
But so wanted to talk about the MLB for a second. Like the rest of us, most MLB players see their regular paychecks end when they retire. But there are 3 retired MLB stars who deferred some or most of their income and are still receiving checks today. That's Ken Griffey Jr., Bobby Bonilla, and Manny Ramirez. They have all got pretty sweet setups. So guys, my point to all this is, how can those planning for retirement set themselves up in a similar way like this?
Well, when people are ready to retire, we don't want to just have all your eggs in one basket, because of market dips and what have you. So you've always got to have guaranteed income for the rest of your life. And then we can reach out and do other things with your investments.
Yeah, so what we're looking at, and I talk about this during our dinner seminars, is, just like these guys, when they were working or playing baseball, that was their job, they're used to getting these huge paychecks and income that's flowing through. And what a lot of them did is exactly what we do for our clients. Well, hey, I want to know when I'm out of my prime and I'm no longer playing, I have sustainable income as if I was still working. So that's a conversation we have at our seminars as well as with our clients. When you're working, you're getting older and you're getting better and better at your job. You're probably getting raises and you have this really high base payment. And you like the idea of consistent income coming through your paycheck. So when you retire, it's no different, right? We want to make sure we have a base that's going to cover most of our standard of living, if not more. So we want those paychecks to flow through every month, because the reality is Social Security is probably not enough, especially in Southern California. If you just have 2 Social Security checks coming in for you and your spouse, that's probably not enough to keep up with your cost of living out in Orange County, California. So The goal is, let's build out some more consistent income that, hey, not only do I get 2 Social Security checks on, let's just make up a date here, the 15th of every month. I've also gone ahead, just like these baseball players have done, and I've built out another paycheck for myself, much like a pension that comes on the 1st of every month for my wife and I. So now we have 4 consistent paychecks coming in every month. And then what we're using the market for is more like bonuses, right? Just like baseball players get, just like you get at your job. Hey, we had a really good year. We're going to give you all a bonus. But you want your salary to be the highest thing possible. You don't want to rely on those bonuses. So in retirement, it's very similar. We want to make sure you have a consistent salary when you retire, so you don't have to have a drastic change in lifestyle. And then from there, we're going to use the market and the ups and downs of that as our bonuses. So when we have a good year, we fill the dream bucket, right? We pull the money off I might lowball my figures at a 4% return, and maybe we make 10% this year. We'll pull some of those gains off the table and fill the dream bucket. But let's make sure we have consistent, reliable income that allows you to not be paralyzed by market performance and to have the retirement you've ever dreamt about. Oftentimes people, when we run in here, they don't know how to spend money in the appointments that we sit down with clients. Even if they have a couple million, they're just not accustomed to spending down their own money.
Right.
It's a different mindset. You're no longer getting paid, you're paying yourself. And just like when you're, these baseball players, you want to make sure that you can pay yourself every single year without the risk of your company going broke and not being able to pay yourself any longer. So let's build that consistent paycheck more than just Social Security. Let the market be our bonuses, so you can go on the cruises, take the kids to Disney World, go to the trips to Hawaii, all the things you said you're going to do when you retire. Oftentimes, if you live and die by the market performance, you're paralyzed and you're not spending what you set out to. So by making sure you have a salary like these guys have done, which I think is really smart, you're taking the worry and, the glued to the TV kind of approach where is the market up, is the market down? No, let's make sure we have guarantee or at least consistent income throughout retirement so you can actually enjoy it.
Well, and I think if you take anything from our discussion here today, it should be understanding that having that solid, customized retirement plan matters more now than ever. And the good news is Paul and Travis and their teams do not believe in one-size-fits-all solutions. They're going to tailor each plan to help you stay protected and on track no matter what may be thrown your way. So if you're listening and this has resonated with you, if you're ready to take control of your retirement and build a plan, let's get you on the calendar for that Ivanoff Retirement Roadmap that we have been talking about. No obligation. It's just a conversation. Ivanoffinsights.com is where you need to go to get started. Again, that's Ivanoffinsights.com, IVANOFF insights.com. And let's get your retirement conversation started. Thanks so much for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Thanks so much, guys.
Investment advisory services offered through Ivanoff Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor firm. Registration is not an endorsement by security regulators. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities offered through Travis Ivanoff, California CRD number 325275. The firms are separate entities. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company and are not offered by Ivanoff Wealth Management Incorporated. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Ivanoff Wealth Management is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Ivanoff Wealth Management is licensed in your state, please call 714-553-1490. Ivanoff Advisors is not affiliated with Ivanoff Wealth Management Incorporated. Advisory services are offered by Travis Ivanoff through Ivanoff Wealth Management. Insurance services are offered by Paul Ivanoff through Ivanoff Advisors. The aforementioned are unaffiliated companies.